What's up, ladies? Renee here. Just going to go over the general format of how these weeks will look like, especially in the first day. Sometimes it's just a little bit harder to kind of get used to the flow of the workout. So I wanted to do this little tutorial of day one from week one. And then hopefully as you guys go, it'll be easier if you're just using True Coach, okay? Some of you like the idea to work out alongside of me, and sometimes I give really good cues while I'm coaching or while I'm doing the same workout, which I really enjoy. So it just kind of, everyone's personal preference. Some don't have Facebook, most of you do, but some don't, and I totally get that. I sometimes wish I didn't have it, but kind of need it. So yeah, real quick, we're gonna go over today. And again, the warm-up and the activation piece will be the same throughout each week, okay? So the warm-ups will always be similar. The activation will be pretty similar. Warm-up today, and what I want to talk about breath. You've seen the first breath video, but and how to kind of incorporate that into our movement. I'm going to spend a little bit more time. So in our warm-up sets, I want you to have this not too tight, but enough to where you can give you a little bit of a tactile cue, a little bit of feedback, because I want you breathing 360 degrees around like an umbrella opening up instead of just through your belly, okay? And you want to be in a really good position, so whether you're seated, cross-legged on the ground, on a stool, on a box, making sure that your shoulders are over top of your hips, ribs are down, okay? So here, you're going to breathe into this band. It's really hard for most people to go laterally, so you'll always see me holding my lower rib cage. You want those ribs to move, okay, without getting a lot of chest or neck raise, or without getting straight out full belly, okay? So those first 5 breaths are just breathing, not even worrying about our pelvic floor. Next 5, we're gonna start to think about our pelvic floor this week, okay? That's all I want. We're not even gonna talk about Kegels, squeezing, anything. This week, I just want you to make that connection that as I inhale, my pelvic floor comes down, and as I exhale, my pelvic floor should kind of come on board, or recoil basically. Our breath should work together with our pelvic floor, because we have either set for a long time, had babies, and not retrained that pelvic floor with our breath. We've just kind of deactivated our glutes and our pelvic floor, and that's why we're here, okay? So again, 5 breaths without, 5 breaths with just a focus on your pelvic floor. I just want you to think about it coming down and coming up on your breaths, okay, this week. All right, moving on into that warm-up. Most of you guys know, and I put a quick video on True Coach that you guys should be okay there. Activation piece, glute bridge. On those glute bridge or hip thrust, while you're in that bottom position, and that activation is all band, either, I'll put mine on the loosest one, right above those knees, okay? So on those glute bridge, you're going to be feet, I want those feet turned out like you're gonna squat, and I want your knees driving into that band. From here, you're always gonna keep your ribs down, so if you wanna hold your head, I'm okay with that. Or you can just make sure that your eyes are forward. So from here, inhale, and then exhale, and then move. So that's that blow before you go. Barely touch the ground and back up. So 10, and then those pulses are keeping tension the entire time on the band, okay? So it was just for you to note where your feet should be. Toes should be turned out on those hip thrusts, okay? And this is for the lift portion. You're gonna be on the lower shoulder blades, okay? Same thing with those feet. Squat width apart, toes turned out, pressing into this band. That's when you're gonna use your dumbbell if you have one. If you don't have a soft rubber edge dumbbell, put a towel under it. If you don't have this Rogue sandbag, I learned what a poof was through last round. So like an ottoman, essentially something about as high as your foot to the top of your knee. Because when you're at the top of that thrust, you want to be level if you can. Basically, we're just getting more range of motion if we have elevated shoulders. All right. So again, pushing that dumbbell down, and then inhaling, and then exhaling to the top. You can almost be in a posterior hip position here, because you get a little bit more range of motion in the glutes as well. Okay, you don't want to live in a posterior, but on those hip thrusts, it's okay. All right, so after that, you've got curtsy lunge. Okay, on those curtsy lunge, you can hold weight in a goblet position or down to your side. Okay, just making sure that you're stepping back at an angle and far enough where your knee it stays in the same plane as your heel, and your back knee is right underneath that hip. Okay, so 10 on the right, 10 on the left, keeping that forward rib down motion. Okay, so that concludes the lift portion. 3 rounds of that, resting 1 to 2 minutes. Into the burn section, we've got kettlebell swings. Okay, so I'm kind of stickler when it comes to these swings. I want to make sure that we're not swinging our hips forward and using more shoulders. I want this movement to be all about our hip pop here, and I don't want us to come any further. I don't care how high we get the bell anymore. I just want a hard extension of our hips. So you can use a kettlebell or a dumbbell here. Again, and you're going to pick it up from here, load straight into your hips, and then stand hard with your hips, and you never come past here, okay? So it's not even possible for you to break at your midline if you're squeezing hard here and you're squeezing hard here. So again, pick it up, swing. Good, so it's all glutes. All right, so Russian kettlebell swing is movement 1. It's a death by with all those movements. So you do 1 Russian kettlebell swing, 1 quick step down, which I'll show you really quick. Starting from the top, you're gonna step down with 1 leg on minute 1, and then the other leg is 1 rep. Minute 3 looks like this. It's gonna be 3, making full extension at the top, and then 3 on the other side, okay? And then our next movement is an up down, okay? It's a burpee without touching chest and quads. You're actually staying in a really stiff plank at the top. So here, feet together, and you're here, and you're never broken, okay? So pushing into the ground and standing up, squeezing your butt as you stand as well, and notice I'm tight in my core as well. I try to be. So pushing into the ground and popping solid and through the glutes to the top. So that's by all that work done in 1 minute, and just go until you can't complete good form in that full minute, okay? Last thing, 2 minutes of a happy baby, okay? On this relaxed portion, if you have you know you have a tight pelvic floor, I really, really, really want you to just think about breathing into your as low as you can go, and getting that inhale, never bearing down, but just getting that full inhale and just relaxing on that portion. 4 to 5 minute inhale, and then just doubling your exhale, okay? So I hope that helps you guys to just kind of, hopefully that's a little bit smoother as you see the workout announced, and you're not like, what in the world is curtsy lunge or whatever. But everything is in True Coach. Sometimes the breath and different things, unless you're working out. Facebook Live, I'll talk a little bit more. Facebook or YouTube, whatever I throw up at you guys tomorrow. And then, so if you're ever doing those with me, you get a little bit more feedback and a little bit more cues while you're actually working out. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you.